Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranams, Jai
Hare
Shri
Krishna, Archana.
Hare Krishna, Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Archana ji.
Archana is enough Mataji. Also help us.
Hare Krishna, Sukaram Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Vindhyavali Mataji. You are the life of the group.
Oh
Yes,
God.
I
What,
agree.
what made me?
I
Thank
don't
you very
know.
much for Krishna's mercy then. At
Kathy
least
Mataji,
people are
I am
feeling.
not in the list.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, Sutapa
I
ji. Good
thought I'm missing someone.
Hare Krishna,
I
Hare
will
Krishna,
report.
Sutapa ji. Because she is the one who tells me the class when it is not. So tomorrow we don't have class, is that right? Okay.
Right.
But I am slowly coming into the group.
Tomorrow, Vaisheshika Prabhu is going to give the class.
Oh.
I think same time, right? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam.
Danvat Pranam Mataji.
So Neil Prabhu, I'll wait for you to tell me when to start.
Yeah, I think so far I have. Sonia Mataji, you will be able to read, right? I included
Yes,
it.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we'll start with Sukomal Radhe Mataji, Varshana Mataji, Vindhyavali Mataji, Archana Mataji, Sonia Mataji, Sutappa Mataji, Simi Mataji, and then I will read.
Fantastic.
I am after Vachana Mataji?
Yes, you are after Varshana Mataji and after you Archana Mataji.
Okay.
And sorry Sutappa Mataji for missing you.
No, that's okay.
Khyati Mataji, after me, Sonia Mataji, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Everything settled down? Can we start?
So far, yes, Mataji.
So far, so good. Everybody's doing good? Okay.
Yes.
So we'll start from Bhagavad Gita chapter 12 after this short prayer to the spiritual master. And Om Ajnanatimarandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Welcome, dear devotees, those of you who have joined us here on the Zoom, as well as those who have joined us on Facebook, which includes Dilibai Patel Prabhu, his lovely wife Hemlata Mataji, as well as our dear Vijay Lakshmi Nair Mataji from India. Fantastic. So, starting with Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter, and who's the first to go in to read?
I'm going to read, Shraddha.
Oh, Sukumal Radhe Mataji. All right. So you got the first two verses for you.
Okay. Chapter 12, Devotional Service. Text 1. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the manifested? Text 2. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. Varshana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. Text 5. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Hare Krishna. Vindhyavali Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, you're reading on mute. Can you unmute?
I'm sorry. Text 6-7. But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service, and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Prita, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Text 8. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me, always without a doubt. Hare Krishna.
Text 9. My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. Text 10. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. Hare Krishna. Sonia Mataji.
Text 11. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all the results of your work and try to be self-situated. Text 12. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. Hare Krishna. Shuttapa Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Text 13 and 14. One who is not envious but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. Text 15. He by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety is very dear to me. Simi Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Text 16. My devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result, is very dear to me. One he who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments or desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. Such a devotee is very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Text 18 and 19. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge and who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me. Text 20. Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I'm going to stop here and tell you something, which is that yesterday we tried to do 12, 6 and 7, right? And then we read the chapter, we did the reflections, then we went and read the verse, then we read the purport. And by the time we were done, it was 8 o'clock. So if you do this again today, so we will get the same results, right? So one of the definitions of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and again and expect a different result, right? That's why sometimes you'll find that people who are insane will spend the whole night. They will empty out a well. They'll put a bucket in, they'll throw the water away. Then again, they put the bucket in, they throw the water away, because every time they're thinking something different is going to happen. But in your life, if you want something different to happen, then we have to change what we are doing. And the change need not be drastic, the change can be slow. And sometimes Krishna will make and bring drastic changes for us. So it's better to go slow and steady like that, right? So what I'm proposing to you all is that should we go directly into the verses 6 and 7?
Yes.
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 And then if there's time permitting, we will go on for more questions, reflections, etc. in the course of the discussions. All right, so good. We'll start sharing 6 and 7 on the screen. And whose turn is it to read?
My turn to read, Mataji.
Fantastic, Yadi. Okay, let's see.
ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य
Matparaha.
मत्परा अनन्येनैव योगेन माध्यायत उपासते तेषामः समृद्धार्था संसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरा भवामि भवामि न चिरात् भवामि न चिरापार्था मया अविष्ट चेतसाम्.
Very nice. Okay.
Synonyms. Ye, those who, tu, but, sarvani, all, karmani, activities, mai, unto me, sanyasya, giving up, matparaha, being attached to me, ananyena, without division, eva, certainly, yogena, by practice of sattva yoga, mam, upon me, dhyayantaha, meditating, upasate, worship, tesam, of them, aham, I, samudharta, the deliverer, mrityu, of death, samsara, in material existence, sagarat, from the ocean, bhavami, I become, na, not, chirat, after a long time, partha, O son of Pritha, mai, upon me, aveshita, fixed, chetasam, chetasam, of those whose minds.
Very nice.
Oh, Vashana Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pita, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Hare Krishna Mataji. Then, Vindhyavali Mataji.
Mataji, you're reading on mute.
I'm sorry. It is explicitly stated here that the devotees are very fortunate to be delivered very soon from material existence by the Lord. In pure devotional service, one comes to the realization that God is great and that the individual soul is subordinate to Him. His duty is to render service to the Lord, and if he does not, then he will render service to Maya. Next, Archana Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. As stated before, the Supreme Lord can be appreciated only by devotional service. Therefore, one should be fully devoted. One should fix his mind fully on Krishna in order to achieve him. One should work only for Krishna. It does not matter in what kind of work one engages, but that work should be done only for Krishna. That is the standard of devotional service. The devotee does not desire any achievement other than pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His life's mission is to please Krishna, and he can sacrifice everything for Krishna's satisfaction, just as Arjuna did in the Battle of Kurukshetra. The process is very simple. One can devote himself in his occupation and engage at the same time in chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Such transcendental chanting attracts the devotee of the personality of Godhead. Sonia Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. The Supreme Lord herein promises that without delay he will deliver a pure devotee, thus engaged from the ocean of material existence. Those who are advanced in yoga practice can willfully transfer the soul to whatever planet they like by yoga process, and others take the opportunity in various ways. But as far as the devotee is concerned, it is clearly stated here that the Lord himself takes him. The devotee does not need to wait to become very experienced in order to transfer himself to the spiritual sky. Hare Krishna.
In the Varaha Purana, this verse appears. Nayami paramam sthanam archirade gatim vina garura skandham aropya yattecham anirvartit varitaha. The
Very,
purport of this verse. Sorry, Mataji, you were telling something.
I'm saying very nice.
Thank you so much, Mataji. The purport of this verse is that a devotee does not need to practice Ashtanga Yoga in the order to transfer his soul to the spiritual planets. The responsibility is taken by the Supreme Lord Himself. He clearly states here that He Himself becomes the deliverer. A child is completely cared for by his parents, and thus his position is secure. Similarly, a devotee does not need to endeavor to transfer himself by yoga practice to another other planets. Rather, the Supreme Lord, by his great mercy, comes at once, riding on his bird carrier Garuda, and at once delivers the devotee from material existence. Simi Mataji.
Although a man who has fallen in the ocean may struggle very hard and may be very expert in swimming, he cannot save himself. But if someone comes and picks him up from the water, then he is easily rescued. Similarly, the Lord picks up the devotee from the material existence. One simply has to practice the process of Krishna consciousness and fully engage himself in devotional service. Any intelligent man should always prefer the process of devotional service to all other paths. In the Nara, Narayaniya, this is confirmed as follows. Ya vai sadhana sampathit purusartha chayusate taya vina tad apnoti naro narayanaryaha. Khyati Mataji.
It's Aruni Mataji's turn. Aruni Mataji, please go ahead.
Yeah. The purport of this verse is that one should not engage in the different processes of fruitive activity or cultivate knowledge by the mental speculative process. One who is devoted to the Supreme Personality can attain all the benefits derived from other yogic processes, speculation, rituals, sacrifices, charities, etc. That is the specific benediction of devotional service. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, a devotee of the Lord can approach the supreme destination easily and happily, but this destination cannot be approached by any other process of religion. The conclusion of Bhagavad Gita is stated in the 18th chapter. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha mokshayisyami masujaha. Masujaha. One should give up all other processes of self-realization and simply execute devotional service in Krishna consciousness. That will enable one to reach the highest perfection of life. There is no need for one to consider the sinful actions of his past life because the Supreme Lord fully takes charge of him. Therefore, one should not futilely try to deliver himself in spiritual realization. Let everyone take shelter of the Supreme Omnipotent Godhead Krishna. That is the highest perfection of life.
Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you so much for reading. And now is the time to do some reflections to share.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I really like the point here. I really like the point here. Lord says that he himself takes him. The devotee does not need to wait to become very experienced in order to transfer himself to the spiritual sky. So I really liked it that if you give away everything and just devote yourself unto the lotus feet of the Lord, and then you don't have to wait. He will himself, make arrangement to take us to his abode.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, that's a very wonderful piece. And even as we were reading it, I was admiring that. And it's so funny that I think Pune is in complete sync today because Vidyavali Mataji, or not Vidyavadu, Vidyavadu Mataji also posted on Facebook exactly the same thing. That it is such a promising thing, right? And in the end, he said, therefore, one should not futilely try to deliver himself in the spiritual realization. Futilely. You try to do it on your own, then it's not going to happen. And we read that in Srimad Bhagavatam in the first canto, where we are Narad Muni is explaining his life to his disciple Vyasdeva, who was very confused after documenting the Vedas and Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, and all that. He's not getting the bhava one should get from having performed so much of devotional acts. But so then he asks his spiritual master how he reached that stage. And so Narad Muni starts explaining about his life. And so he explains to him his previous life, like not at Narad Muni, not as Narad Muni, but what he was in his previous life. Now, does anybody remember what Narad Muni was in his previous life?
Hare Krishna Mataji. He was a son of a maid who was looking after the yogis who had come there, rishis who had come there, and she was, cooking and taking care of them as a maid servant.
Right. And what months were those?
And Kartik.
Chaturmasya.
The Chaturmas.
Chaturmasya. There were the 4 months there, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So during Chaturmasya, usually people do that. They kind of go into seclusion and they devote themselves a lot to devotional practice. So that's what they were doing there. And then Narad Muni, as a young boy, he was very small, barely 5 years old, and so he used to serve them a lot, right?
Yes.
And then what did he do?
He used to eat the remnants of the
prasad. Yes.
He ate the remnant. And so before eating the remnant, what did he do?
He took their permission.
He took permission.
Very nice. He took their permission, right? The perfectly behaved boy. So he took their permission, and that pleased them a lot. And so they revealed some secrets to him. And actually, they stayed a little longer than they had planned to be there, just so that they could, impart knowledge to him. And which is very, very important, because we see this happening in the life of Narad Muni as the son of a maid servant. That the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, where it says, Sushushro Shraddha-dhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syan Mahat Sevya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishivanat. So it says that the desire to hear Krishna Katha, right? When people sometimes say that I sit in Krishna Katha, my mind doesn't want to sit there. I originally started that I want to sit here, my eyes are closing, I want to eat something. Right? I have to fumble in my purse and bring out something and start writing. I remember I have to make that phone call. So all those kinds of things will happen at the time when the Jiva soul wants to sit down and listen to some Krishna Katha. So, and the reason for that is the taste, ruchi, to listen to Krishna Katha has not yet reached that stage where you can sit through a lecture, right? So you can imagine where you all are, right? When it's 8 o'clock and I'm saying I want to go, and you're like, no, because you want to sit down and discuss Krishna Katha amongst yourselves, right? That's a very good sign. But it doesn't happen in the beginning, and so there's a lot of resistance put forward by the mind when the soul wants to do these kind of things. And so, what is the remedy for that? So this verse is saying, Syan Mehat Sevaya. So he's saying Mehat means Mahatmas. Sevaya means
Service.
Rendering
To
service.
render
Super.
service. Exactly. So Syan Mehat Sevaya means that if you render service to these exalted personalities, then the desire to listen to Krishna Katha will come to you. Now, isn't that amazing? Isn't it something so out of the world from whatever we do, right? Nowhere does it say that if you press the feet of your physics teacher, then physics will come automatically to you. Nowhere does it say that, right? But in the spiritual world, things are very different, right? So that's what Narad Muni was doing. He was doing that, and he served those exalted personalities, and they were very happy, because when you served somebody, they are pleased. And so they imparted this knowledge to him, and then they left. They stayed behind a little longer than anticipated, and then they left. And then Narad Muni describes something very, very important. And he says that I was the only son of my mother, and she was a single mom. So she knew that Narad Muni, or thought so, she thought that Narad Muni would be her savior and the son who will take care of the mother when the mother is old, right? So because she was the only child and her only support in the future, she used to shower a lot of affection on the son. And when the mother showers a lot of affection on the son is going to get attached to the mother, right? So then Krishna had other plans. So one night, when the mother goes to milk the cows, a snake comes and bites her, and she leaves her body. So, which also speaks so much, so volumes about what we plan in life and what Krishna's plans are, and these fallible soldiers. We might think that my son is going to save me, my husband is going to save me, this and that, right? But Mare Krishna Rakhe ke. If Krishna decides to kill you, then nobody can save. And if Krishna decides to save you, nobody can kill you. That's also true. So then she passes away, and then Narad Muni starts walking up north, and he goes through villages, this and that, and then he sits down and starts to meditate. And because based on what those rishis had taught him, and when he sits down and he meditates, then um, he sees the Lord in his heart, and he's overjoyed by that sight. And then the Lord disappears. And Narad Muni is like, oh, what happened, right? Lord is gone, Lord is gone. And then Bhagavatam describes that Narad Muni tried to squeeze his eyes and, just do that, concentrate his heart concentrate his mind on the heart and everything. And he tried to bring Krishna back in his heart. And Krishna would not come. And he tried it so many times through his mechanical means. Let me go straight. Let me do this. Let me bring Krishna into my heart. And and then an unembodied voice, which means a voice which had no body. So Krishna spoke to him like that and said that you will never see me ever in this lifetime, because you still have got some desires and you need to be purified, like that. And then the voice kept quiet, and then Narad Muni understood that, and he spent the rest of till he till he dies, and and then when he dies, because of the universal cataclysm. So there's pralaya, right? So everybody gets sucked back into the womb of Mahavishnu. So I want you to close your eyes and imagine, when do you get sucked? When would you get sucked back into the womb of Mahavishnu? What all things are going to be destroyed for that to happen? Mahavishnu. Who's Mahavishnu? Let's see, take that.
His exhale, it created, and with his inhale, everything is annihilated.
Yes.
So it merges like.
Entire universe goes back, right? And so Narad Muni stays in his womb for a very long time, right? We know how long Brahma lives, like trillions of years. So he lives for trillions of years. And so inhale and then exhale. So inhale, and then everybody, all the Jivatmas go into Mahavishnu's womb, and then at the exhale, they'll be born again. So in the exhale, then Narad Muni comes back as Narad Muni in this life, as you see him now, and then he continues his devotional service till he reaches perfection and gets a spiritual body. And the benediction that he can go to any place to preach the glories of the Lord. So we see through the life of Narad Muni that it is not possible for you and it's a futile attempt to deliver yourself, mechanically through any of the mechanical process. The final thing will come from Krishna, and that's why you have realized it, and that's why two of you mentioned that Krishna will deliver you. Krishna will deliver you. That's that has to be there, and that thought that Krishna will deliver me also means that I have surrendered to Krishna, and I have put myself in a inferior position, so to speak, and I've accepted the fact that I can't deliver myself through my own means. I need help of Krishna, and without Krishna's mercy, nothing is possible. Like that, and so that's the concluding part of this whole narration, the whole purport there. But more reflections. It's a big purport.
Mataji, yesterday you told that Sharva Dharma Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. So you asked what is Sharva Dharma means. So Mataji, what I have realized that it is like religion and what you are, basically what you are. The mundane thing means your body and what relationship, everything means you have to like you have to leave everything and come to Krishna, means for the surrender. So and I want you to more tell about more what does that Sarvatama mean.
Yeah, but you are on the right track. You are on the right track. You have to give up everything, and everything would also mean, for example, that you get those who are at a certain level in devotional service. They will get up in the morning, chant the Gayatris, then take a shower again, afternoon, then again chant the Gayatri, then take a shower again in the evening, chant the Gayatri, like that, right? And so this is Ekadashi, I have to keep a fast. And this, by the way, tomorrow is Ekadashi here in USA. So like that, you keep on, so there are so many things that you have to do, right? I get up in the morning, I have to put tilak. So these are all activities. So that's one kind of a dharma. People are following religious practices, right? So this is this day, so I have to get fast. This is that, I have to do this. I have to light a ghee lamp. All those kind of things are part of religious things. And then that's one dharma. And then other type of dharma also is your mundane dharma. So your mundane dharma would mean, for example, Arjuna, right? In Bhagavad Gita, what was Arjuna's dharma?
Kshatriya.
Kshatriya.
Right? And then, so as a Kshatriya, his dharma is to fight. But then he was also a student. So as a student, what was his dharma?
To learn what teacher is telling, that he should accept that and follow the path or instruction.
Right. So he should follow the instructions of his teacher, right? And then what about his relationship with the teacher? Should he be killing his teachers?
Also,
From the pure mundane perspective.
No.
Do you go and kill your teacher? You don't, right? Right?
No.
So in front of him, they are standing Dronacharya, Kripacharya, they're all his teachers, right? And that's why when he's following that dharma, that as a student, what is the dharma for a student? What is a student supposed to do? He's not supposed to, or not do, he's not supposed to kill his teacher. So he had that dharma to protect his teachers and not to kill them. And that's why he said, Guruni Hatva Mahanu Hamam, right? He says, my hands will be covered with the blood of my spiritual masters if I kill them. So So, but Krishna tells him that no, there's a bigger plan. I have decided to kill them. I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I have decided to kill them. So, nimit matra bhava saveshachin, you just become my um, instrument of whatever I want to carry out. So, so when Krishna is saying sarv dharman parityajya, you abandon everything. And mamekam sharanam vraja. And there's that. So don't worry about that. And why is saying that? And one might just think like, how can I do that? How can I go without a tilak? How can I, not chant my Gayatri? How can I not do this? How can I not keep fast on Ekadashi? And you see that these kind of messages were given even by our acharyas, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, right? He used to tell his disciples that if on a Ekadashi, you have to eat to be able to go out and preach, then do it. So he's saying that that's a dharma, right? So he's saying, but you give it up because you are doing it for a higher cause. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that it's my order that you spread Krishna consciousness in the whole globe, and that's what we are doing. So in that process, you might have to give up certain things. And he says, Sarv dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam raja. So you just only me, surrender only to me. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami masucha. He says that I will deliver you from all your sins. And earlier in the chapter, they're saying that, don't worry about the previous sins. Because what can you do about something you did in your past?
Nothing.
Right? And only by worrying about the things that you did in the past, you can spoil a very perfect present that you have, right? Worrying about something which is imaginary. Right? When the past is done, then it becomes imaginary. So he's saying that aham tvam sarva papebhyo, if you are afraid that you will incur some sins, because he says, right, sin will incur us. Arjuna was talking about that in the first chapter. We will incur sin if we do this, if I kill them and this and that. But he says, aham tvam sarva papebhyo, I will mokshishyami, I will deliver you from all the sins. And on top of that, he puts the guarantee. He says, ma suchaha, do not fear, do not doubt about that. That is faith. Do not doubt that is going to happen. And we know that very famous story of Krishna is talking to Uddhava and who are my most exalted devotees. And then Krishna tells him, okay, you do this. So he goes to some exalted sadhus who are sitting and doing a lot of penances, and they are Krishna bhaktas. And he goes there and he tells them that, Krishna is having a terrible headache. I just came from there. And Krishna is saying that give me some dust from your feet. And if he puts it on his forehead, then his pain will go away. And then the sadhus tell him like, what?
Okay, beautiful. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
We
Mataji's
have
screen-
lost Shraddha Mataji,
yeah,
I
her
guess.
screen is hanged, so probably it will come back.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
I think my internet since morning is giving some trouble. Right? So those sadhus refused to give his the dust from the feet, and saying that no, we'll rot in hell because of that. And then he goes here and there, gets the same answer, and then he goes to the gopis, and he says that Krishna is having pain in his forehead, and so he wants the dust from your lotus feet. And so the gopi says, all right, here. And they take the dust off and give it to Uddhav. And Uddhav is like, oh my goodness. And so he asked them that, are you not afraid that by doing such a thing, which is adharma, that will you not go to hell? Are you not afraid of going to hell? Okay. And then they answer very sweetly, and they say, but if it cures his forehead, we don't care where we go. So that is why you see the devotional service of the gopis is put at a very high level. Because they had that faith. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshyami masacha sarv dharman parityajya. They had given up that dharma. They have given up all the dharmas. One of the dharma is the dharma of a wife, right? You're married to somebody, you stay with them, you don't run away in the night. So they were doing it, right? So that is
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, here the question comes to the mind. Their husbands by Krishna's arrangement, they did not come to know that they have gone to meet Krishna, or they knew about it?
Well, actually, it's very funny when we talk about these pastimes. Sometimes, you will have husbands, and to to a to a mundane eye, they might even appear that they are touching it, but they cannot touch. For example, we see Ravana had carried Sita away,
Yeah.
but he did not touch, right? So so these are very deep and they are very esoteric things, and Yog Maya does a lot of things. She comes and puts people to sleep, and how it happened when Krishna was born, right? All the guards went to sleep.
Yeah.
So how does that happen? So Krishna, well, Yog Maya plays a big role in these things. And for your precise answer to your precise question, I don't know precisely whether they went to sleep or they didn't know it or they knew it, like that. But that's what it is, yeah. But they went and they did that, and I'm pretty sure they knew about it because people used to talk about the gopis in a bad way. So the people knew that they were going there, and they would leave. They would and the gopis were from all walks of life. They married, they had kids. And so one of them would leave the child behind crying, and they run, and the mother-in-law from the back will then start saying, like, look at my daughter-in-law, she ran away to that boy again. So, but this is all such a transcendental, I mean, these are deep things. The Ras Leela and all that are very, very deep. I don't understand them. So by Krishna's mercy, I will understand them someday, but not right now.
And then in the beginning of this purport also, it says that the standard of devotional service should be like so high that you have to only work for him, do everything for him, and just to achieve him, no matter what you do, but if you do it for him, and if you whatever work you do, if you do it for him and you attain that level of devotional service, then you can definitely achieve.
Yes, yes. And I have my godbrother Rohit there, and he's saying Dharmatsu Sakshat Bhagavad Pranitam. Yes, very nicely said. The religious principles are those that are in whatever Krishna says is religion for you. So if he says Ashwathama mara gaya, lekin hathi, Ashwathama is killed, but just the elephant. If he says you, then tells you to do that, you do it, right? So very interesting point. And I think, I don't know whether you brought it yesterday or somebody else brought it yesterday. That is, Yetu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matparaha. Right? So what is saying that Yetu sarvani karmani, and how does it translate that into English? That Prabhupada is saying that those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me, and becoming devoted to me. So how do you work for Krishna all the time? And this is a very standard question that people ask, that, I am in Grahastha ashram. I am, like 26-year-old and I have a 2-year-old child. What do I do? How can I dedicate and do everything for Krishna? This is this little baby boy or little baby girl. I have to change the diapers all the time. So how do you do everything for Krishna? Because by doing that, you will please him. Right? Because he's saying, Yetu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matpara ananyanyeva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. So those who do everything for me, and then with undeviated mind, ananyanyeva yogena, don't put their mind here and there. Mam dhyayanta upasate. They focus, they meditate on me. Upasate, doing worship. Tesham aham samudhrta nityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat parta maya veshuta chetasam. So he's saying that those who do that, then very quickly I will deliver them from this ocean of death. Bhavami nachirat. Chira means long. So it doesn't become long. Not before long, I will deliver them, right? From this ocean of birth and death. And you yourself can see, I mean, at least I can see for myself that the progress that you make when you come in touch with Srila Prabhupada's books and start following his instructions, your life changes and you very immediately climb so many notches high, right? It's a turning point when you get the book and you get Krishna's guidance. It's the turning point in your life. Yeah. So why does he do Tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat? So some uddharta. Uddharta means Uddhar. Uddhar. What is the meaning of Uddhar? Those of you who know Hindi. What is the meaning of
To
Uddhar?
deliver.
Deliver,
To deliver.
What is the meaning to deliver?
to take away, like to take away from the ocean of birth and death. He will take you out of it.
Right? So taking you away, Uddhar is to do some good for you.
Mhm.
Right? I'm doing this for Jan Uddhar. So Sesa Tesham Aham Samudrita. Sam Udrita. Sam is coming from Samyak. Samyak means complete. So he's going to do complete Uddharan for you. This is the best Uddharan that he can do. Because what kind of Uddharans that happen in this material world are not complete. They are not complete Uddharan. Somebody can give you some money. That'll take care of my food for some time. Right? But it's not complete. Right? Somebody might give some food to somebody else. Right? And once he finishes the food, he's hungry again. But better to teach him how to cook. Like that. So that's a better welfare activity that you're doing. And so that's why in the Srimad Bhagavatam, they talk about what is knowledge. They talk about what exactly is knowledge. And they say that, okay, what is knowledge? Right? So we come across knowledge and we think we're very knowledgeable because we have studied this and that in political science and astronomy and this, in physics and chemistry, biology, material science. But all this, what they're doing is that you are trying to understand this material world. And is that a knowledge? Yeah, that's material knowledge. Is that perfect knowledge? No, it's not perfect knowledge. So what exactly is knowledge? The knowledge, the real knowledge is something that will show you and help you to distinguish between illusion and reality, right? So a doctor can tell you inside out of your body what's going to happen, what's happening, how it's going, and somebody's eye is twitching. They can tell you what nerves are acting there. They can tell you all that, right? But the real knowledge is to understand that you are not this body, right? Like that. So real knowledge is one that helps you to distinguish between illusion and reality. And the illusion is that I am this body, this one is my child, I am Narad Muni, this one is my mom, she died, like that. So all that is an illusion. And we know from the story of Chitraketu's son died. And when he was brought back, the king said, I'm your father. And he said, which father? I've had so many fathers. I've died so many times. Right? Those are the realities. So that's why they say that Srimad Bhagavatam actually opens your eyes and tells you the difference between illusion and reality. And that is the real knowledge. That is the real knowledge. Right?
Mataji, can I ask, can I tell something with this matter?
Yes, please share.
Yeah, the other day, I got a call from India, and that person, he was like, he is suffering very much, and he is in so much pain. And he just asked, can you tell me why this has happened only with me? And Mataji, I knew the answer, but I just kept quiet because that person was crying and he was in so much pain, means I could not tell anything because I know that it is the body or maybe the previous karma. He has to go through this pain or something. But I just could not answer, means uh, did not utter a single word.
Very good.
I said everything will happen good. Just have patience.
Just one second. I think I'm hearing some background sound. Just hold on and just continue that because I want to hear all of it. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
So, but I don't know what I did. I do wrong or did I do right? I just kept mum that
That is
time.
right. Sometimes silence is golden because you should speak the words only if the other person is able to digest them and receive them, right? At that time, if you come and tell you there's a law of karma, then he'll say Krishna is cruel.
Yes, Mataji. Because he himself is suffering. His mother is hospitalized. His wife is hospitalized. So the situation, I could not say anything.
Yes. Yeah. And there's no need to say. There's
Yes,
no need
Master.
to say, you just have to listen. You have to ask and see how you can arrange for some help. Like if everybody in a hospital, do they need prasadam? Reach out to devotees. We know a lot of people who can arrange to have prasadam sent to their homes like that. Um, and just through your helpful act, first you have to win their heart. Shushushur Shraddha-dhanasya Vasudeva Katharachi Syan Mehat Sevya Vipra. So it says that you have to first do service of the Vipra to be able to listen to Krishna Katha. So why does that happen? Why is Seva listed linked with that? Because when you do Seva to these Mahatmas, they will bless you. And then from their blessings, you will learn how to listen to Krishna Katha. Similarly, when you do serve somebody, even on a seemingly material plane, but it's not on a seemingly material plane, because if you arrange food for them, you're arranging prasadam, right? Or any small things like that. So first, that way you will win their heart, and when you win their heart, then they will open their ears to you. Up until that happens, it's not possible for any, not even a word to go, and for us to pour even one little word
Yes.
in the ear. So you did the right thing, and sometimes they know their answer. They might even know all that, right? They might even know the answer. So there are so many ways, there are so many situations when people ask questions, and not all questions have to be answered, right? People can ask you a question because they're frustrated. Why me? Why me? And
Yes,
if you give them
Mataji.
an answer, they will come back with another argument and another argument, another argument, and you'll be like, oh my goodness, and then you'll get frustrated. Why are they not listening, right? So when people are, when they're angry, when they are frustrated, they will ask questions. They're not, they are rhetorical questions. They're not to be answered at all, right? Sometimes they will ask you questions to entangle you in something, right? So there are so many ways, but you have to only answer questions which are really sincere, sincerely asked, and you will see that in the way they come and ask you these questions, that how can I do this, how can I do this, please help me, guide me. So the tone is very different, and then automatically
Yes,
come.
Mataji.
And you have got that intelligence to be able to check the pulse, and you did that very rightly. That COVID is terrible. I mean, the body hurts so much,
Yes,
I've heard. And then to have the whole family around you gone, right? So because that itself is a shattering of our insurance system, right? Where we think, if I'm sick, I have a wife who will take care of me, but the wife goes to the hospital first, even before you fall sick. So these kind of things are, I
Mataji.
shattering, and you did the right thing of by not telling them that you're the body and not the, you're
yes.
not the body.
Mataji, instead I told him that I will pray to Lord.
Yes, very
He
good.
will get some relief.
Yes, and he will if you pray. Yeah.
Mataji, Neelam, who attends the class on Facebook, she also got COVID, Mataji, and her husband also got it.
Who?
Neelam attends the class
Oh, Neelam
on
Mataji,
Facebook.
I saw her today here. Yeah, she's attending these
Has
classes.
she come?
Yeah, she was there. I think so. Yeah, Neelam is there. Neelam Sharma is there. And
Thank God.
yeah, she's there. Namazia Mataji is there. Jay Agarwal is there. Rohit, Bhakta Rohit is there. Nemi Sharanya Prabhu, Dhanvat Pranam. So good to have you here. Yeah, yeah.
She is having COVID, Mataji.
Yeah, there
She's
you go.
also.
Yeah, and she's braving it all and listening to Krishna Katha. Yeah.
Mataji, I have a general question in context to Suttapa Mataji's, very rightfully handling the situation. Like we suffer from diseases in this life. So it is because of our previous past, I mean, a sinful karma, or it's just a part of life, like we'll go through, like it's just the stage of life, age or birth, death, old age and disease. It's just a part of life, or one suffers it because of his or her previous sinful karma.
Yeah, it is due to karma. Because some people have more disease and some people have less disease, right?
Yeah.
Right? Not everybody has cancer. Some have cancer, some have it at a young age. Some live and they're hale and hearty. Some people go through old age and they're very hale and hearty and nothing happens. And one fine day, suddenly they're talking in the middle of a sentence, they'll die. No problem. And some will be, they will have a very prolonged illness during old age, and they'll be hospitalized and they'll be bedridden, and they'll be on a tube and whatnot till the doctor says, now you have to remove the tubes. So there is birth, death, old age, and disease, but there's a degree of how much you suffer. And those sufferings
I
will
think
come.
the first category, sorry, no,
Mhm.
no, go on.
Yeah. So I lost my thought.
Sorry, I was just going to say the first category that I think they are entirely blessed. I mean, to be able to go like that, you know, in the click of a fingers, blink of an eyelid, they're very blessed, and I think that's the greatest fortune one can have.
Yeah, and that's what we would think on the surface, right? And I will close the class today with this nice anecdote from the life of His Holiness Keshav Bharati Maharaj, Swami Maharaj, right? So Keshav Bharati Swami Maharaj, of course, he's in American body, and he took to Krishna consciousness from a young age, born in a Jewish family. And obviously, those days, child takes to something which is so foreign and so drastic and so different from the American culture. So obviously, the family is shocked beyond wits. And then the child takes sannyas, leaves everybody. It's unthought of in this side of the world. People don't take sannyas like that usually. And so the mom did not like it. The mom never liked the Hare Krishnas. And then, of course, Maharaj went to India and spends a lot of time over there. And then in her old age, her mom contracted Alzheimer's disease. And there was nobody to take care of her here. So he came. He came to take care of the mother. And this is what Krishna is saying. Sarv dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Anybody looking at it from a very different plane might just say, hey, weren't you a sannyasi? Didn't you give up your family? What are you doing taking care of your mother? Right? But then there is a cause, and then there is a greater cause. For greater cause, you come and you take care. So he came, he took care of his mother. Now here's the interesting thing. That mother is in Alzheimer's, completely forgotten. Whatever pains you undergo when you have, she's undergoing all the pains of old age. But because of her Alzheimer's, she forgot that she did not like the Hare Krishnas. So Keshav Bharati Maharaj used to read to her from the Krishna book every day. And then if one day he didn't read, then she would point out and say, I want you to read the Krishna book. And says, the last words she said before she died was Hare Krishna. So this is what I wanted to bring. And thank you, Arni Mataji, for bringing this so that I could speak to the other side as well in answer to the question that when people are sick, I think Archana asked this question. So is it because of karma? So majorly, yes, it's because of karma. But sometimes Krishna will give it to you. Krishna will give that to you. I mean, I can tell you about my own mom that she was into, she was religious, meditating and all that. She was Mayavadi, but anyway, they also do it all the way. In the end, they get confused. But so, but she loved to travel also. She would travel here and there and, jump on a train, this, that. Nobody's going with her. She'd go alone. She loved to travel and loved to talk also. But she's not much of a talker, but she did. And so she got paralysis. We started from the tongue. So first the sound went capable to talk, and then she could not move also, and she was on the bed. And I used to feel very horrified about her, thinking that, how bad life is for her. This is a person who loves to move, and she cannot do this, she cannot do that. And then when she was dying, when I went to meet her, I asked her that, do you pray? And she could not move anything in her body, but except her eyes. She would, blink her eyes and answer your questions. And through that, we came to know that, she was actually praying all the time. And I was just thinking that if she was well and not sick, then, she was living with my brother. So there are grandkids and all that. She would have spent her time there, wasted. But Krishna confined her to the bed. And so now you are not supposed to do anything but just pray to me. So from outside, we might see things in a different light and think that they are suffering and, and how cruel God is. And anybody might have looked at my mom and said, this lady spent her whole life in such pious activities. Why did she have to die like that? Somebody might just think. But when you come closer, go deeper, there are deeper things that, we can't even comprehend. So Krishna's master plan is amazing and flawless. Like, yeah.
But the karma can be always from past births, or also how you lived your life in this birth.
Yes. Anything in the past. Anything in the past. It could be recent past. For example, if I eat 1 gallon of ice cream today, tonight, thank God I don't have ice cream in the home. So if you eat 1 gallon of ice cream in the night, and then in the next morning, you will suffer, right? You'll have a cold, you'll have cough, you might have upset stomach. So sometimes the karma comes instantly, right? And then that karma can also be cured also. I can take medicine and I can get cured. Or I can get a disease which is not curable. Right? So the layers of karma and the levels of karma that you do and the sufferings that you incur because of that also vary according to what we have done. But the good news, and I would like to stop here on the good news, is karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam govindamadi purisham tamaham bhajami. That all your karma can be dissolved. That's why here in this verse it is saying that do not live in your past. Do not worry about what you have done in the past. Chapter 12 is about devotional service. Devotional service. Don't worry whatever you did. Don't worry because you can't change it. But whatever present, this moment is called present, right? This tense, Vartaman, is called present. Why? Present means a gift, right? Present is a gift, right? My birthday present, my Christmas present, my Diwali present. So this is a gift to you. And since it is a gift given to us by Lord, we should make the most of this gift. And the most that you can make of this gift is to engage in devotional service of the Lord. Okay. All right. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kipasindhubhyev cha patitanam pamnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Shraddha.
very much, Mataji.
Thank you everybody for joining us on Facebook.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Good to see you all. Hari Bol. Hari
Hare
Bol.
Krishna, Mataji.